Good evening. Welcome to the Raleigh Board of Selectmen meeting of June 16th, 2014. Just a reminder that this meeting is being audio and video copied digitally.
Hi, thanks.
And first order of business, to call the meeting to order. I so declare. Pledge of allegiance. George, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Please stand and place your hand over your heart. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
George, thank you. Chairman's comments. I do have some minor comments tonight. As most of you may know, Flag Day was Saturday. And I just got a little bit of piece to read here about Flag Day. What would it be like without symbols? We often use simple pictures to show complex ideas, with something small representing something big. Wedding rings mean marriage. Mobile phone icons lead us to take action. Flags represent nations. Americans observe Flag Day each year on June 14th, the day when the Continental Congress first issued the U.S. flag in 1777. This year's Flag Day was extra special because 2014 is also the 200th anniversary year of the Star-Spangled Banner, our national anthem, written by Francis Scott Key. The U.S. flag, America's most recognizable symbol, inspired Key to write this famous song's lyrics. Flag Day is special because it gives us a chance to fly our flag, which is not only our nation's top symbol, but also the inspiration of our official top song. Life would be less meaningful without symbols like our national anthem to inspire us. Okay, that ends Chairman's comments. Citizens' query. 2:05 to 2:15. We're a couple of minutes late, so we'll do it to about 2:17.
7:05.
7:05, I'm sorry. Did I say 2:05?
Two, you said 2.
Wow, that's a long comment period. We actually have two appointments tonight. At 7:15, we have George Pasenka, Agricultural Commission, to discuss sale of wine at the farmers market. And at 7:30 p.m., we have a joint meeting with the Board of Water Commissioners to update on water treatment plant construction and update on water department staffing plans. General business, item number 1, review ZBA memo on application for deck. Okay. So we have that. It's from the Zoning Board of Appeals, June 3rd, 2014. Case number 14.04. The public hearing will be held at the Town Hall Annex, 39 Central Street, on Thursday, June 16th at 7:15 p.m. to act on an application received 6.2.14 from Richard and Judy Schonwald of 39 Hillside Street, Raleigh, Mass. Applicant is requesting a variance from the Board of Appeals for a deck from the requirements of 6.1.3.1 of the Raleigh Protective Zoning Bylaws. Property is located at 39 Hillside Street, Raleigh, Mass. The property is in the residential district and is shown on Assessors Map 19, Lot 9A. At the public hearing, members of the public may ask questions and present evidence that supports either the approval or denial of this application. John W. Thurston, Chairman. So what they've done is they've sent us a copy of that to review. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to...
Yeah, I looked it over, Mr. Chairman. It seems like a routine application. I don't have any problems with it or any questions.
Okay, I have to agree with you, Dave, on that. I looked it over also, and it seems to be fairly straightforward. Isn't in a location that's really going to bother anybody. So
Mainly
we'll-
in a butter issue, if the one a butter there, I think is
Yeah.
concerned that that might be an issue. But
but,
as far as we're concerned, I didn't see anything that I thought would affect us.
Okay. Is there any other further comment?
No.
I'll need to entertain a motion to notify the zoning board of appeals that we have no objections to the
I'll make the motion.
hearing.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. General business number 2, community drive memo. And it's the Raleigh Community Blood Drive, Tuesday, June 24th, 2014, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Raleigh Veterans Association, 19 Bradford Street, Raleigh. For an appointment, please call 1-800-RED-CROSS or 733-2767 or visit redcrossblood.org.
Already have my appointment.
Very good. Blood is essentially needed this time of year, so please schedule your appointment today.
Dave, you ready?
Yeah, I already made my appointment too, so,
He gives blood with the selectmen.
yeah, they get it. More than the drop out of us.
Okay. General business number 3, road opening permit request from National Grid to open 24 Pleasant Street for gas service. The undersigned hereby makes application in the name of the National Grid for permission to open 34 Pleasant Street for purpose of gas service installation.
We all signed off, Mr. Chairman. I'll give you a motion to approve that.
I'll give you a second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the number 34 Pleasant Street National Grid gas permit, road opening permit. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That was actually a vote.
Jack. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, new business number 1. Appoint Gene Petillo as Planning Board Associate Member. Planning Board Member vacancy, Associate Member. Dear Honorable Board, Gene Petillo, who has served as an exemplary elected member of the Planning Board for a number of years, but whose term expired last month, has informed the board that she is still interested in continuing her service to the community by serving as the associate member of the planning board, which is currently vacant. At its May 28, 2014 meeting, Ms. Petrillo notified the planning board in person as to her interest in continuing to serve and has stated that she has submitted the required paperwork to the Board of Selectmen for consideration. In that regard, I would like to convey to the Board of Selectmen and the town administrator on behalf of the entire planning board its most positive recommendation to support Ms. Petrillo's request to continue to serve on the planning board as associate member. If you have any questions or would like to further discuss Ms. Petrillo's extensive qualifications, please feel free to contact me or the town planner, Kirk Baker. With regards, Curtis Ryan.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I make a motion for Gene Petillo, the associate member.
Okay, motion made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, the time being 7:15. We have an appointment with George Pasanka, Agricultural Commission, to discuss the sale of wine at the farmer's market. George, you want to come up?
The Department of Agriculture and the Alcohol Beverage Control Commission have gotten together, and because wineries are considered an agricultural entity, they grow 90% or 75%, depending on where they're from and how big they are. They grow, they make their own wines, and they put it up for sale. The Department of Agriculture feels that it's something that can be sold as a at a farmer's market because it's an agricultural byproduct. But the ABCC has said that the only people that have to approve it is the governing body. They don't even need to approve the sale of wine on in a town. And we have to come to you. Debbie told me that you don't have anything in writing.
Well, this is all fairly new because of
It is.
They've made some changes as of the last year or so.
Right.
Particularly, we had the issue with Mill River about them giving away their samples or selling their samples.
Right,
And we had to get that squared away and get an application for that.
right.
But, yeah, so I think what we're going to need to do, if the Board of Selectmen agrees with the Agricultural Commission proposal to allow the sale of wine at the farmer's market, the board needs to vote to expand the farmer's market to include the sale of wine from licensed wineries. The Board of Selectmen needs to vote to establish an application process for the sale of wine at the farmer's market. Apparently, there is a local farmer winery interested in selling their wine at the farmer's market. If the board approves this, then we will send an application to the winery and schedule them for the June 30th meeting. So, is there any other questions or?
George, a quick question that,
Yes.
selling of wine, you don't see it presenting a problem?
Not really. If they're selling, it's like sealed bottles of wine, that's,
Right.
it's no different than someone selling honey or the vegetables or anything else. It's just a sale that's taking place, and there should be no problem with it. These people, from what I understand at Alfalfa Winery, all their people are qualified servers. They've gone through the tips and everything else, so that if they feel someone has been tipping it a little too much, they can refuse sales. And they're all over 21. They're all been trained as far as selling and serving and everything else. So there shouldn't be a problem with that.
Do you know if they're going to be interested, George? And you may not. We may have to ask them that question when they come before us on the 30th. But will they be giving out samples or selling samples?
That is up to what they get from you people.
Okay.
The last thing I talked to the woman who's in charge, and she said, if they allow it, they'll do it. If not, they understand.
Okay. So that's something we may want to think about at the time when they come in.
Yeah.
I don't want to make that decision at this point. But
Right.
we certainly can think about it. So what's the board's thoughts on this? Is there anything else any other questions or?
I don't have a problem with it.
Honestly, I don't either. I mean, if it helps the farmer's market, that would be good.
I think it'll be a kind of a boon to the farmers market, because now from what I understand, we're one of the few that will have a winery.
Oh.
And Alfalfa Farm has got a good reputation. And I haven't had a drink in a long time, but I understand the wine is very, very good too.
I'll give you a motion, Mr. Chairman, to expand the farmer's market
Okay,
to
we need
include
to,
I would say the sale of wine. I don't think at this point I would want to include samples.
okay,
At this point anyway. We can always do that later on, see how it goes for a year. And then, I'll give you the motion to approve the expansion of.
I'll second it.
Deb, did they get the packet from the ABCC?
Yes, and Amy actually, bless you.
Yeah, we'll give you a motion afterwards, George.
Is a
is a
Approve
template
the,
from the ABCC for an application that the board would need to approve as a local application. We also included the information provided by Mr. Pacheco. It's the last section of your package.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to allow wine sales at the Agricultural Commission Farmers Market. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We also need to vote to establish an application process for the sale of the wine at the farmers market.
I looked through the packet prior to the meeting, Mr. Chairman, and I had no problems with the state sample.
Sample, yeah.
It gives us all the information we need, and I think, Debbie, it looks all right from your perspective.
Yes.
People are the ones that kind of deal with the licenses.
We think we would be able to get all the pertinent information that we need for this particular type of operation.
So I'll give you a motion then to approve the sample, or make our application based on
Second.
the sample.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
We've made the first step, George.
Well, that's where we gotta start.
That's right.
First one is the small one, let's go with it. Thank you,
Thanks for
guys.
coming in, Judge.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, George.
George,
Thank you.
good to see you.
See ya.
George, you get water going down to the garden.
Yes, we do.
I thought I saw it.
Yeah, well, it's temporary right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's busy. The highway department said that they will be down to dig it in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, at least you got it there anyways, huh?
Well, it's there.
Yeah.
It's hooked up to the hydrant.
Yeah.
So we're all set.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, under new business number 2, FY15 reappointments and appointments.
Want help?
We may need help. As long as I don't run out of steam, I'll be all set.
So, Mr. Chairman, that's just the backup, but the successor page is there.
Oh, thank you.
In case there's any questions. It's the one page, is the actual,
This is the page that we
that needs to
need.
be voted on. This is just,
Summarizes everything.
Amy has
Okay.
condensed it and put it in the table. It's just that you, in case you had any questions.
Okay, well, that makes it much easier. I thought I was gonna have to read this whole packet, but
No, you know.
that's much better. Thank you so much. Okay, we're doing reappointments, and it's the police department, 3-year term. Richard A. Johnson, patrolman, and they all expire on 6/30/2017. Robert J. Colby Jr., reserve patrolman. Sherry A. David, reserve patrolman matron. Charles Hazen Jr., reserve patrolman. Daniel A. Lees, reserve patrolman. Dorothy M. Tobin, reserve patrolman matron. Lynn M. Neely, FT dispatch matron. Dorothy M. Tobin, assistant to chief. Keeper of the Rowley Police Station. That one's not up yet, so. To the next one. Robert Barker, actually, keeper of the police station. Lockup facility is required under Mass General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 35, 1-year term. Robert Barker. That would expire 6/30/2015. So we want to vote on the police department?
I'll give you a motion to approve those appointments with the expirations as stated.
Give you a second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Conservation Commission, 3-year term. Those would expire 6/30/2017. David DeMonico, Douglas Watson, Judith H. Keys.
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Rowley Cultural Council, a 1-year appointment. It would expire 6/30/2015. Carolyn Bartlett, Carolyn Peabody, Kathy Sullivan, Nancy Hill, Chair, and Sally McRae.
I'll give you the motion, Mr. Chairman.
A second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Shellfish Constable, 1-year term, expires 6/30/2015. John H. Grunstrom.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Shellfish Constable Deputies. Stuart Dalzell Jr., William Demento, John E. Grunstrom, Fred Hardy, David S. Kent, Charles G. Hazen, S.N. Not,
No, that's,
That's a typo.
strike that, please.
okay,
It's a typo.
so we taking out the whole?
Strike that name, please.
Yes, okay,
Yeah, that was a carryover from the last database.
all right, okay. Michael Cook, Daniel Purley, and they're all one-year terms expiring 6/30/2015.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
And one abstention. Council on Aging, 3-year term expires 6/30/2017. Joan Lyons.
Give you the motion.
I'll second. Oh, Jack seconded.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, opposed? Motion carried. Okay. New business number 3. And it's a letter from Jonathan Bennett regarding replacement of children at play signs on Summer and Independence Streets. Dear Chairman of the Board of Selectmen, I am writing to request that the board consider erecting children at play signs along the perimeter of the town common, especially along the Independence Street and Summer Street side of the common. See attached Rowley map. I appreciate your considering this request. Sincerely, Jonathan D. Bennett, 4 Independence Street, Rowley, Mass. So he looks like he wants to put one is at each end of the Independence Street, the Main Street side and the Summer Street side, according to the map that he supplied.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I took a look at this, and I'm really not in favor of it, mainly because they're both side streets. I know Summer Street's posted at 25, which is a slow speed anyway. Independence Street is a short street. You're not going to get much speed there. And I'm just getting concerned that by putting up more signs, it's just creating more clutter, sign clutter, between
Well,
the signs and the telephone poles and the, everything else. And I'm not sure that they're really going to make any difference in terms of, I don't know if there's a speeding issue there or what, but I think we're all down through there all the time, and I don't notice any particular problems.
Yeah, he didn't elaborate as to why he wanted it. Do you think it would be prudent to maybe run this by the chief of the police?
Yeah, maybe the chief of police on the highway surveyor, they can both get back to us on what signs are out there.
Maybe get some recommendations from them?
Yeah, just see what they think on it. That would be fine.
Okay, so we can put this on hold and then check with the authorities and see what they recommend.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Maybe we have something from Mr. Bennett too. Maybe he'll elaborate
Yeah, we
his
could,
reasons.
maybe he could let us know.
Yeah, is there a particular problem he's concerned about, or just he just wants signs?
I
He
think
doesn't
there's-
say anything.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't give any.
Down in that area, I think there's some young families with children, if I remember correctly. I'm just going back to last year when we were Independence Day on the Common, and I thought there was some young children in the area. So
Yeah, a lot of
Why
it
don't we
for
get
me,
some-
Bob, is just, we get a lot of signs, and people don't
They don't pay attention
People
to
don't pay
it.
attention to them, and, you know what I mean? It's just to put more signs up for the sake of having a sign there. I'm not,
Yeah.
well,
enforcement-wise and stuff, I'm not sure.
it may be. I think it may be because there's some young families in that area.
Right.
Okay, and they have
Yeah,
children.
there
They're
is.
probably concerned.
On a house.
In the corner house.
There's 2
All
or
right.
3 little ones in there.
All right. That's what I'm kind of thinking,
Okay.
and, young parent, you have, especially in an area like that, you're concerned.
Okay. All right. The time being 7:30 p.m. We have a joint meeting, Water Board of Commissioners. We actually have 2 commissioners in a room at this time. Do we know if the 3rd commissioner is going to, planning on coming tonight, or?
No, he isn't.
He's not, okay. So it's a joint meeting with the Water Board, and it's an update on water treatment plant construction, and update on Water Department staffing plans. And I will call for a motion to open the joint meeting by roll call vote.
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
Motion made and seconded to open the joint meeting by roll call vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And your name?
Jack Cook.
By Robert Snow.
Aye, Robert Murray.
Hi, Dave Peterson.
Hi, Tim Toomey.
Nice, Stu Delzell.
We are in joint session. And we want to take up Water Department staff plans first. Update on Water Department staffing plans. And what we have is a letter from Deborah Egan, Acting Water Superintendent. Do you want me to read the whole thing, Deb?
It's up to you, Mr. Chairman, or...
I can. I didn't know if that was
Would you
going to
like
be...
me to read it, or it's up to you?
Well, it doesn't matter. I can go for a while.
I
I
can
don't know.
read it.
I don't know if I can go the whole thing, but I can go for a while.
Dear Selectmen and Water Commissioners, I am informing you that I'm resigning from my role as the Acting Water Superintendent from the town effective immediately. The added responsibilities, combined with philosophical differences with the current chairman of the Water Board and the course of action to take to complete the water treatment plant, have made it impossible for me to continue in this role. I refer you to an email message dated June 12, 2014, as a representation of the non-constructive interaction between the chairman and me on water treatment plant construction issues. Although I will no longer be in the position of acting water superintendent, I emphatically support the concerns that have been consistently expressed by the Board of Selectmen on the progress of the water treatment plant construction. Sincerely, Deborah Egan.
Well, Deb, as the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, I understand where you're coming from. I feel a little bit disappointed in that we can't continue to get this done, but sometimes you have to make a decision. And I understand that decision. Is there any other comment from the board?
Accept it with regrets.
Definitely accept it with regrets.
Yeah, I just think, Mr. Chairman, that, it's obviously in going to a number of water department meetings in the recent past and dealing with the issues of construction and delays and so on and so forth. Ms. Egan is, and I supported her in the acting superintendent to be the acting superintendent because I felt at the time that administratively she could really add some help to work on issues regarding the treatment plant as well as a number of other issues that have come up there, from including the transition to the new billing company, the way complaints are handled, and the daily distribution systems, and there's all kinds of issues with help up there that are pretty obvious when you watch the meetings, and both here and at the water board. But really, the new billing company's online.
Yep.
They're doing a good job as near as I can tell. We're trying to work through the treatment plant issues, and there seems to be the town administrator is a very efficient and likes things done in writing and likes things done in a proper manner, as we all know in dealing with her on a daily basis for a number of years. And the water board, it seems like at this point we're kind of going around in circles between the water board, the health situation up there, the use of Mr. Hargraves as the overseeing the project on the town side, and a lot of the emails going back and forth. There's an awful lot of emails, but my own disappointment in the whole situation is that the water board, when Miss Egan went in there, she picked the ball up and ran with it. The water board and Mr. Toomey has kind of dropped the ball. They've kind of like decided that the town administrator should should do everything, with all the issues up there that she had nothing to do with getting started. It's all been put on her shoulders, and when it isn't going according to plan, she's the one that seems to be getting hit in the back of the head with it. And I think it's, my recommendation to her is that it's time to resign. Let the water board figure out what they're doing. We'll continue to give them whatever help we can, and I think we've bent over backwards to try and obviously want to get the water treatment plant online, but at this point, I think it's more of an impediment than it is making progress. So that her resignation, and I would vote to accept it with regret, because I think she's done and tried to do an excellent job up there. And I don't know what the water board's going to do, what the water department's going to do, because there's so many outstanding issues, and week after week we just bat these same issues around. Everything from water treatment plants issues to construction to building, not billing, but complaints that are made on service problems and things like that. And it's just we seem to be treading water. We're not getting anywhere. We certainly have plenty of work here for the town administrator to spend her time on. We've got a number of our own major projects that need to be done, and we're not doing. At this point, this board is stymied because between us and the town administrator, we're spending most of our time on water department issues, and we can't continue to do that. And the summer's here. We need to get onto some of these we got a number of projects that need to be done, from the Girl Scout camp to the Brad Street ball field issues. We're trying to get the police station, fire station situation going. We've got construction issues that we're going to be looking at for upgrading Pine Grove School, and that's just a few. We got tons of things, and we just can't afford to deal with, have our town administrator deal with these issues any longer. They need to find someone else that can do the job. And so with regret, and I can give her my congratulations on the work and effort she's put in. And I'll leave it at that.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
I think Ms. Egan had the full backing of the Board of Selectmen, and she did a splendid job while in that position as superintendent. I am shocked at some of these emails that I've read from the water board and from the chair. Very disappointed. Ms. Egan, you did a fine job.
Thank you.
I'd like to echo you gentlemen. Accept Ms. Egan's resignation with regrets. She worked very hard and went way beyond the call of duty.
I'd like to add that there were many, many problems that Ms. Egan straightened out for the board that needed to be corrected from a good many years, and she did a wonderful job. But I think that it was just too much work for her, being the town administrator and superintendent for the water board, and I think that was just an overload. And
I don't think so,
Well, I
Mr.
do.
Toomey. I
I'm
don't
not
at all.
done. I'm not
I
done.
disagree with what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
done. I'm not done. I want to personally thank you for everything you've done for us. And I think that going forward, we can learn from a lot of these things that may have been misconstrued. But I really, at this point, I accept her resignation, but with regret. I think that she was doing more benefit in the last several months than I could ever imagine. So thank you very much, Deb. And I'd like to, address the situation at hand. Right now, we don't have a superintendent. We don't have anybody capable on the board to take over. What I would suggest we do is we sub it out to Weston and Sampson, who does provide services for providing superintendent services. The primary operator we had last year is now a secondary operator under our license. He also acts as a temporary interim superintendent in another municipality in the area. That's just one option I think we should consider and look at right now until we can get somebody on board at this late date. We're going to bring on this person that we interviewed last week. I think she's got wonderful credentials, and I think that we're going to be all right.
Mr. Toomey, we advertised the job for, however, she asked for the town to consider a starting salary of $78,780, 24. What's bringing this to bring a salary that when we had it advertised for a
Excuse me,
certain?
Excuse me, Jack, just one question, Mr. Chairman. Should we vote on this resignation first and then get into,
Yeah, I think so.
just so we kind of don't, not to interrupt you, Jack, but just to make sure we keep clear what,
I'll make that motion with regrets.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Regretfully, I say aye. And Debbie did the best that she could do.
Mr. Chairman, Karen Summit was an integral part of helping the whole process, so she
That's-
actually
That's
would like to make a
absolutely
statement
correct.
tonight.
Yep. Karen, please.
The selectmen had asked me to help Deb out when she became the acting superintendent, which I did. We worked very well together. But, like Deb, the time has come where, I have my own duties and responsibilities, and am going to be stepping down as her acting assistant.
You are staying in the office across the hallway, though, right?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay, that's the only thing that scares me.
Oh, no.
Wonderful. We appreciate it very much.
Just to follow that up too, Mr. Chairman, Treasurer has done an outstanding job, and she's very, very knowledgeable about the billing, and she's been working when I've gone to the water board meetings and watched her in action in terms of trying to work on policies and procedures at the water board to get things straightened out and make it more customer friendly and so on and so forth. She's acted like she's been there doing this thing for years. So
I know.
between the two of them, I think we had a valuable resource here. That,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
It's regretful
No question about it.
to lose both of them, but at this point, they're a team.
Yeah.
And I don't see one
In a fine team.
and I don't see one. It'd be difficult for the assistant to move on without the acting superintendent. So
The thing that
it's been a great. It's too bad that it's come to this, but we've
It
tried
is.
to work this all together and with all the issues. There's so many issues, as we all know, and it's just maybe it's time to move on. Maybe this will be an impetus to get things.
Yeah. thing that amazed me was Karen's ability to deal with the bonding people and the bonding laws and things like that. That gets very, very complicated, very, very serious if you do something wrong. And she was right on top of it the whole time. And I personally thank you very much for doing that.
And the hours they spent on budgets and I forgot about
Well,
the budgeting,
yeah,
but in terms
yeah.
of getting the budget ready last year.
The
and this
financial
year,
team,
as part of the financial team,
it
it's
was,
just been, it's
it worked
very,
very
very,
well.
very time consuming. And
Yeah.
these people have taken a lot of time out of their own jobs and their own personal lives. And I know the town administrator is here at well after 6, 7 o'clock on many nights, and we get emails and stuff like that she we need a change, and she needs a change.
Yeah.
I will still be working with, the assistant collector is working as the part-time accountant. I will still be working with her
Good. That'll be great.
in that capacity.
We have to need a motion. If so, I'll make a motion with regrets. So,
Yeah, I think we bill her a thanks anyway.
yes,
Oh, absolutely.
absolutely.
Did we actually appoint you, Karen? Do you
No.
remember? No. Okay.
Debbie
I
Debbie-
appointed her. I said,
Debbie recruited
We
her.
worked well as a team, and Amy worked, and Doreen. We had many hours sitting down, going through work lists with Peter and Rob, the fabulous primary and secondary water operators, going over the work plans, and Carmine has been instrumental in holding the place together, never turns away from work. And so it's been a fabulous team. It's just come to that point now where I think there's a divergence of opinions on what needs to be done and when it needs to be done and how it should be done.
Right. You know, I can't help but think that maybe there'd be just a little bit more cooperation on the other end of this whole mess, that we might have been able to pull it off, but it's just gone too far. It really has gone too far. So, we did make the motion for Debbie.
Yes.
Could I have a motion to
Second.
send Karen a letter of thanks?
Make that motion.
And the rest of the
Second.
staff, as a matter of fact, if we don't mind.
The whole staff.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Give them
Now,
a
the only
letter.
issue we're gonna have there is that we're gonna have the staff do it. Which, on second thought, really doesn't seem very fair. But we just want you to know how much we appreciated all of that you people do for us. We're the elected official, we're the one on the firing line, but you're the one that keeps the bullets away from us. It's really, I don't know what else to say. We thank you. Okay, so we got item number 2. Do you want me to read that one, Deb? Item number 2?
Yes, so the water board offered, they had 2 finalists, and they had offered the position to Mary Beth Weiser of Elliott, Maine. So we've been working, she's has an extensive work history, so Amy has been working on that. We haven't completed it entirely, her reference calls, but I did have a nice meeting with Mary Beth on Friday afternoon. We sat and discussed things for a while. I believe she's an excellent candidate for the position. You know, she works in the town of Falmouth, Massachusetts at this point in time, which is a larger community by far. And they're in the middle of just building a $43 million water treatment plant that she's obviously directly involved in. So we did discuss the salary point level. We had posted the position for the new higher rate of the pay grade. And with the system is that after 6 months, you would move to the after 6 months rate and then subsequently on to the steps. This would be a move here to Raleigh would be a substantial pay cut for her. And she needed the weekend to think about this. She hasn't committed to accepting this position, but she has asked for consideration, and there's a letter in your package of $78,780, which is $2,860 over the FY15 water superintendent salary budget. So, you know, I know that the Selectmen, as the employer of the town, would be able to vote to make a special exception on a hiring of an employee such this, and this is a crucial department head. Ms. Weiser has, I think, more than what's needed for the qualifications for this job. She's worked in many places. I would recommend the board consider this. However, we would have to deal with the deficit in that budget line, and there would have to be some type of transfer. I recommend an unforeseen transfer in fiscal 15 to compensate for that. But it still, once again, is pending the completion of the reference check, which is almost done.
I'd just like to say, Mr. Chairman, that as a chairman of the Personnel Board, at the time that we set the salary rates on the new salary schedule, we'd gone through all the town employee positions. And the one with the water superintendent at the time was one of the more difficult ones to deal with because of the issues that we had with that previous water superintendent. And in fact, when we made when we set the salary at the level that we set it at for him, my concern especially was that it wasn't going to be a high enough salary, because these water superintendent positions, and they're all licensed positions. There aren't a lot of people out there that are available to take them, and obviously money is an issue. And I felt that we probably should have made the salary higher at that time. However, as we on the board know, we got a lot of grief from citizens in the town over the last water superintendent, and why was he getting a raise with all the issues that were going on at the water department at that time. So that number we came up with was more or less a compromise. We knew we had to raise it up quite a bit, but wasn't going to be as high as what we really felt it needed to be. So I would see, I have no problem in setting this salary for this position to be started at this new rate, personally. And the other thing I think it should be noted is this Mary Beth actually lives in Maine. And she commutes to Falmouth, which is a long ride daily back and forth. So one of the reasons why she's interested in coming here is it's closer to home. She actually, I guess, rents an apartment down there during the week, and so it'll be a big lifestyle change for her to come here and be closer to home, be able to commute back and forth to southern Maine, so that she can do that on a daily basis. So she's looking at a step down, but on the other hand, for herself. And at this point with her, I'll be perfectly honest with you, and I dealt with her on I was part of the initial interview committee, and she does have a fabulous resume. She's worked for a number of different water agencies and been involved in everything from testing to actually jumping in the holes, and she has all the licensing. I mean, she's a well-qualified candidate, so I'm hoping that her references check out and she's able to come here, and I hope we can convince her to come, because she's almost overqualified for the position. But if we can get her in here for a couple of years to really get us straightened out and get our treatment plant online and get the whole department working as we all hope it will be working, I think that it's a real plus. So I would recommend that we go ahead and offer her the increased salary amount, and hopefully she takes it, assuming that the references check out, and we really need to move forward on this, because, to be perfectly honest with you, there's not a lot of candidates out there. We had 6 or 8 applications, and we actually only had 2 that we even forwarded to the water board. That's what we felt had any. So if she doesn't take it, I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to have a tough time filling this position, I think, because unless some new qualified people come out of the woodwork. And at this point, with our situation for the last couple of years, we're not really attractive to get candidates. So it's a difficult situation. So,
Just like to add, Mr. Chairman, that I was at with Selectman Peterson at the water board meeting last week when she was during the interview process, and I was very impressed with Ms. Weiser and her credentials, and I think she has what we need to get this department back up on its feet and moving. And I would recommend that we transfer that fund and go for the.
Okay. Actually, I did read her resume and was very impressed by it. I really was. I mean, it goes on for page after page. And she does have the qualifications, there's no question about that.
So with that, I would recommend the higher salary and the transfer, and I would make a motion in that effect.
Okay, do we really want to make a motion at this point, unless we key it into the references?
well, I think we need to, I think we need to make a motion to set the higher salary rate, because obviously she's not going to come if.
Yes.
Well, no, I agree, but do we want to make sure we have the references first, or do we just want
Well,
to say
Well, we want to make it conditional.
upon the rest?
Yeah, so what I would recommend is that the Board of Selectmen support the higher salary, so I can reissue the job offer with the higher amount, all contingent upon a completion of all these phone conversations we've been trying
the
to,
references.
That will be my motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Yeah, I'll accept that motion.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Motion
so-
made, is there any further discussion on it?
Good.
What is her current salary at Falmouth?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Way above
I
what
just know
we're
it's substantial.
Yes.
substantially above.
Really?
That's not
It's a big community. That's why I brought up the issue of the fact that for her, it's a lifestyle change
That's
altogether to
right.
be closer to home. And it could be, and what it must be costing her just to.
More
She
importantly,
was in the office here the other day, and she's talking in the last 2 years, she put 2 sets of tires on her car.
Yeah, that's a
You
lot.
know, though it's a vicious commute. She spends sometimes on a Friday night 4 or 5 hours getting from Falmouth up around 128 or through Boston to get home. So
Yeah, she
I mean,
works
I think
hard.
that's part of her.
It is.
And her family
yeah.
lives in Methuen or something. Or
Yes, her
parents
family
and,
lives
you
in
know, for
Methuen,
her
so
it's-
she's looking to come back, and she has a house in southern Maine, Elliott, Maine, which is next to Portsmouth. So she understands that even at this higher rate, it's still less than what she was making, but it's a number of, issues that draws her to it. And she's looking forward to coming to a community and really having the ability to get in and get things set up, especially with the new water treatment plant, and updating rules and regulations and policies. So she seems to know how to operate a water treatment system, distribution, treatment, and water treatment plants. So
Okay.
When would
So-
she be able to start?
Well, she hasn't got a. She
she
hasn't
has to
accept-
give a notice, and she's
She hasn't accepted the offer yet. No, all we're doing
So
is
that
here is
happens.
raising the salary up so that we can tell her this is what we're willing to pay you. She may still not come. I mean, there's no guarantee at this point yet that she's coming. So
Does this need approval with the personnel board?
Board of Selectmen.
no, the Board of Selectmen
All right.
actually sets the salary, so we can vote and then move on from there.
Hearing nothing further, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 I don't know if they have to. They probably don't need to vote on this. This is a select.
Well, it's a joint meeting, but
Yeah, but
Well, I guess, should we make a motion to give that offer to her? And we'll vote on it, or?
If you want to, I'm not gonna.
yeah, I probably it would be appropriate. Just
I think
that
so.
way it's a
Move things
unanimous.
along, yeah. I make a motion that we accept the Board of Selectmen's decision on increasing the salary for the offer. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
just for the record, the selectman motion carried.
Okay, and this should be a roll call vote by the water board.
Aye, Tim Toomey.
That's 2,000.
And then in terms of what Jack was gonna brought up now, moving on to the next item, the next bullet, on item number 2, would seem to me that we really need to, I mean, we had an emergency now, we have no water superintendent. So we need to hire someone, and we legally hire someone from Weston and Sampson to fill in on an emergency basis until we find out whether there's,
Yeah, I would.
until a new superintendent is hired at this
I
point.
would suggest that probably be the case if they can, I know they're using Weston and Sampson services right now to fill in because there's only one primary water operator. At this point, one of them is on vacation, so if there can be some contact by the water board to get a water superintendent services contract in for 30 days, 35 or 40 days, if that's what the water board wishes to do, then they probably need to move forward quickly on that.
Being prior member of the water board, back when we had Haley and Ward, we had 2 occasions. We didn't have a superintendent, and we hired one of the members from them, had fully licensed, and came in and worked, I think like 4 hours, 20 hours a week basis, at that time.
Yeah.
We had, and I'm sure Weston Sampson can give you some kind of a service, but you're probably gonna pay some money.
Yeah, I
to do
think
that,
that, as I recall, I think there was a superintendent rate and their rate structure that they gave us under contract, but I'm not sure. I'll have to check
Yeah,
it
I'm
out.
sure you probably have.
Can we maybe suggest that you hire someone for an emergency 30-day contract? By then, we should know, I mean, I would imagine we'll know within a week or 10 days at the most, whether this candidate that you were wishing to appoint is gonna take the job. If she's willing to take the job, then,
She's gonna need about a 30-day
Well, we
window
can
of
extend
time.
that, you can extend that contract for another week or two if need be, but if she's not gonna take the job, then I think we need to probably get some price quotes from a couple of different outfits to see, because it's gonna be a much longer term process for getting a water superintendent. Like I say, based on one of the applications we looked at, it's gonna be a difficult process, so it may end up being an extended period. Or at this point, we may end up even start to take a look at having a, someone privatize, or, not privatize, but contract out at least a portion of the distribution services for a year or whatever. We gotta get something to get us through this hump, and every time we turn around, we're running into another dead end or a blank wall. So, with a little bit of luck, she'll come on board and really bail us out, but if she doesn't, we just have to be aware that we're gonna need a longer term solution, and, which may blend into an even longer term solution if that's the case. So, because as it is, we're trying to hire some secondary operators, and I don't know where that process stands at this time, but I mean, we got a real issue of personnel in your department, and, it's not getting any better day by day, that's for sure.
No.
Well, Mr. Chairman, it may be helpful then, based on what Mr. Peterson said, that while the water board is in session this evening, that they take a vote to solicit a contract from Weston and Sampson for 30 days with an option for an additional 30, for a total of 60 if necessary. And so that, we can make a contact with them tomorrow to see if they can get a proposal in for them to sign tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm sure they can probably get us fax something over pretty quick, because it's obviously, this is a real emergency that needs to be dealt with, because obviously we get into the construction part of the plant, there's a number of issues that need to be dealt with to get this thing moving. So, yeah, I don't know if we need a motion to
I think
do
if
that.
the
The water board needs to
votes-
make a motion
If they
on their
vote
side.
that, at least they can, they're not wasting tomorrow, they would have that vote and that authorization to, we would be happy to call Weston and Sampson tomorrow morning and see if they can get a proposal over to the water department so they can discuss it, look at it, and vote
Well,
on
the water
it.
board's meeting tomorrow night, right?
Yes.
Maybe first thing in the morning, call Weston and Sampson, have them fax something over, because you could, I don't know if you need to add it to the agenda for tomorrow night, but it is an emergency as far as I'm concerned. I think we're all concerned that if Weston and Sampson can get something over to you tomorrow, that your board can make the appointment tomorrow night, and we can't waste any more time.
Stu, how about the ones that run Salisbury?
Senator,
Is it worthwhile to call them for you guys to get two? I know Weston Sampson's our primary engineer and overseeing,
Yeah.
but why? They're huge.
Yeah,
Well, at this point,
yeah.
Jack, my only concern is
You
at
know.
this point is they need to appoint someone tomorrow night.
Right.
This
And I think that's why my suggestion is do it for a 30-day period.
Yeah.
And then if Mary Beth takes the job, then we'll just extend it a week or two and whatever it
That
takes.
makes sense.
If she declines the job, then I think we put it out to Penachek and, what's the other company that you were talking about? This is probably a bunch of companies.
Well, there's
out there.
Whitewater, there's Penachuk,
Yeah,
there's
but advertise it at that point.
Alien Ward.
At this point, this is an emergency. I think we just need to hire someone. We
We're-
need, you guys need to appoint someone tomorrow night, or
We're lucky that we have somebody that is already working for us through Weston and Sampson.
right.
That's got a lot of experience with that department, how it runs, and, there's gonna be less hassle by, getting him on.
Plus, the next 30 days is critical in terms of bringing
30
this
days.
plant online, so if they're all working together as a team, hopefully, it's certainly gonna help, rather than bringing in for the next 30 days, someone altogether new that has no idea what's going on.
And then tomorrow night, can we expect that you're gonna be there, Karen? with the budget?
No, I'm afraid I won't be able to make it.
Okay,
tomorrow
so then
evening.
maybe you could send me an email with the budget on it so we could look at that. Make sure that we're, have the money. If it's a special thing.
I think within your expense budget, once you find out how much it's gonna be, then I can confirm it. I don't think it's gonna be an issue.
Okay. So we'll look at 1 month and then we'll try to get that thing accomplished tomorrow night.
I think the best thing is, like you said, Tim, you got Weston Sampson. They're involved up in the plant. You get someone that can step right in and know what's going. If you do, thinking like I said, Penachuk, these guys are familiar. You get a guy come in that's for 30 days or, 6 weeks or
Now, do we have to notify
5 weeks.
DEP of these personnel
Changes?
decisions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just make sure we
Yeah,
do that. and
I'll
don't
speak with Peter King tomorrow and ask if he could put that notification in.
Okay, so does the water board want to take that vote to do what Dave suggested?
Yeah, we're gonna I'd like to make a motion that we contact Weston and Sampson and then get a proposal for a 30-month with maybe a
30-day.
30-day interim water superintendent position, contract position for, with the possibility of one extension for 30 days. Do I have a second?
And if, I'd like to add, if Weston Sampson's too busy or something, I would like Penachuk to be able to call them, to get them involved. Do you agree?
I'm wondering, I mean, if we're
Well,
gonna do
if you
that,
don't
it's
have
gonna
them,
delay.
Tim, you gotta have someone right
Well,
now.
you gotta have them.
You got this now,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I think Weston and Sampson will have someone.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
we're
sure
also-
you'll
I
probably
just
give
assume
them
not complicate it.
the
Yeah, I don't want to
backup.
complicate it, but.
If
yeah.
you don't,
I'll go with that motion.
I mean, by tomorrow night, if you don't, if Weston Sims says we can't do it, then tomorrow night, Stu, you can
Yeah.
make a new motion to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to go out with it. Just to not complicate it at this
Yeah,
point.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
the other thing, Debbie and Karen, with this superintendent's budget, you haven't spent any money on it, have you? You didn't, it was a token to have
Yeah,
you
no,
work
No, no.
for
it's-
us for,
Well, it's for the new year, Jack, though.
Huh?
We're talking the FY15 budget now, not,
no, but we still have money right now.
yeah, but that money disappears at June 30th. The FY, what we're doing is voting money for the FY next year's budget,
Right.
which they will be spending. I mean, we'll just have to, we'll do some
Yeah, in 3
transfer, that's all.
weeks.
It's-
But you got,
I think it's a
you
major
still
issue.
have
It's just
quite a bit
matter
of money in that you can just transfer,
For the
am I
balance
right?
of this year, yes.
That's right.
In the maintenance line.
There must be
yes.
quite a bit in there, I would say, because Debbie and you two have been doing a good job there and getting nothing out of it. And the pot is still there. I mean, the salary is there
Right.
Yes.
for the wages
If
for a
there's
superintendent.
If there's a concern that there's not enough money in the expense budget, we can do a 33B transfer from the water superintendent line to the expense line. But based on the reports that we saw last week, and we've got Bridgetta down there who prepares reports now really every few weeks, there seems to be substantial money left in the expense line. And with the selectmen's authorization, obviously this wasn't something we factored on. It can come out of the expense budget. If we're concerned, there can also be a transfer from the superintendent line that has substantial funds in that as well. In fiscal 15, the Board of Selectmen will have to take a vote to do the transfer from what I recommend is the emergency and unforeseen line to the superintendent's salary line in the summer, so that that salary is at the level that it needs to be for the new superintendent if this is what works out.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Okay. So now we go on to the next item. Item 3.
Yep.
Okay, item 3 is the part-time secondary water operator position is closed. And there are 2 applicants for this position.
So this is a position that's funded in the fiscal 15 budget. It closed, there are 2 applications, so the water board should be interviewing fairly soon to fill that, so they can get a part-time 15-hour-a-week position up and running in July. However, as I said at the last selectmen's meeting, when we had a joint meeting, and I brought it up before with the water board, I'm unclear on what the schedule is. It's 15 hours, it's an awkward amount. It doesn't fit into two, 8-hour days because it's 15 and not 16. I'm not sure what the rationale is. We got a number of inquiries from applicants pondering whether they should apply or not. I didn't have any answers. We tried to get them, and so some people withdrew and said they weren't going to apply because they weren't able to get a definitive schedule. I'm not sure what the rationale was for that, but we'll see if we can get somebody to take it and figure out what the schedule's going to be.
Okay, any other discussion on that?
Well, is there a process we can change it from 15 to something else at this point without a town
There
meeting?
won't be enough money for the,
Yeah.
do it, I would say do it at the 15, 7 hours one day, 8 hours the next, and it's only temporary, see how it works out. And if everything else falls into place, that'll probably be fine. If we run into a roadblock with the superintendent, all these other positions, or if someone else leaves up there or something, I mean, it just complicates it, so I would say just roll with it at this time with the 15 hours, and you guys can make the schedule work.
Well, this is just
8 and 7 and 15 is, that's all.
well, this is just a question. We're anticipating running the plant full-time, or we're just looking at one shift full-time, but, through the 7 days a
Right.
week. And if we look at the total budget for the 15 hours per week, does it have to be 15 hours per week, or can it be grouped in to cover a full-time operator for a temporary period of, say, 3 months? Is that possible?
Well, I think we're looking at soliciting secondary operative services anyway, right?
Yeah.
So,
In other words, we have a need for
at this
more
point,
manpower.
at this point, Tim,
Okay.
once again, to keep it simple, what I would recommend is we hire the person for 15 hours. Let's see what happens with the superintendent's position, see what you get for the contracted service positions. And if we then work out between all of them, because it sounds like we're definitely, during the summer, gonna have to make some budgetary changes if we have a fall town meeting, whatever, but I think right now, we're just guessing, and rather than guess, let's move with what we've got and see how it works, and
Okay.
hopefully we'll get a superintendent in and can really set this thing up, and that's what we're lacking a superintendent. I mean, even with the town administrator, the acting superintendent, we're really lacking a person who understands the daily operations of the water department, so if we can get a superintendent's position filled, whether it's the new person or whether it's from Weston and Sampson, then they can work on how to figure out these hours and where the money's gonna come from in the budget, and if we can make transfers, we can do it. If we have to go to town meeting, there'll probably be a fall town meeting. We'll just make the adjustments then,
Make
but
the adjustments, yeah.
yeah, I think at this point, we're just going dots to the dartboard to try to make those kinds of decisions.
Okay. We're just looking at options.
Yeah, no, definitely, we need to look at them, but I think it's just, at this point, let's see in the next week what transpires, and hopefully tomorrow with Weston and Sampson on a superintendent's position, and then maybe things will start to fall in line, hopefully.
Okay, any other further discussion on that position? Hearing none. Item number 4 is the full-time secondary operator position closed on Tuesday, June, was it 16th or
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
17th?
17th.
So that would be Tuesday, okay.
Yeah.
So that position's closing. Is there any discussion on that?
Are we getting a number of applicants? Do we know? I mean, I'm sure it's not closed yet, but
2 for the full-time, 2.
just 2 for the full-time position? This is what we're running into, is,
Yeah.
you think in this job market there'd be a dozen people waiting to go, and there isn't, and this is, what we're really running into is the difficulty of finding licensed people that are willing to.
Yeah, and
To work.
then, because we do have the applications, it doesn't necessarily mean there could be the requisite license there.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't been
So
reviewed
that's
yet.
something that-
Hey, there could be another 3 people or something walk in tomorrow, but I mean,
Yeah,
this is just an indication, though, of the problem we're having trying to hire people, is just that the lack of good applicants is just, it's a highly competitive field, and it's difficult, so, okay.
Item number 5 is the solicitation for certified water operator services was mailed out on June 9th, 2014. The deadline is 4 p.m. Thursday, June 19th, 2014. So that one's still pending.
Okay, that's good, I didn't know that.
And the next item would be update on water treatment plant construction. We received an updated list from John Sikora. I'm assuming that's in the package.
It seems like we're still having the installation of the phone line is a major impediment to getting anywhere. And I understand that the Verizon who's doing the job has run into some blockages in the pipe. I mean, this is something that should have been done months ago, and we're running around at this point the last minute, and obviously now we've run into some major construction issues, and the whole thing, nothing's gonna move forward until that line's done. We can get the alarm systems and the fire code issues resolved at a minimum, so.
Dave, I can give you an update.
Yes.
As of Friday, I spoke to the engineer in Verizon, and I was on the phone several times with him on Friday. And what they came across is the duct line is blocked in two places. So in order to fix it where it's located, they had to call DigSafe. So what they did is on Friday afternoon, they called DigSafe to have a markout done. So at that particular time, there's no DigSafe on the weekend. Okay, so the clock started.
Monday.
Monday. It started on
Well, late Friday afternoon.
late Friday afternoon. So now it goes into all day Monday, and then the time is up on Tuesday afternoon. So there won't be a crew out there until Wednesday. So they told me that will be the earliest that they go out there and address the conduit issue. Once the conduit issue is cleared, it's been addressed, then they're looking at the latter part of next week, that would be this week, or the beginning of next week to pull the fiber in.
It's 3 business days, weekends don't count.
Right, exactly. It's just the way,
Late
it's just,
Wednesday at the earliest.
Stu, you work with DigSafe all the time, you know, and Bob, you work with them. So it's just the way it is.
So, with that in mind, for all the fire issues, or the fires, the alarm issues, there was a list of 17, without sitting here going through every one of them tonight. Has the other issues been pretty well taken care of at this point, or are we still running into all kinds of roadblocks on some of these other issues that need to be completed? Because what we're running into here is that for the building inspector to agree that it's substantially complete, that I would say that list of 17 pages has got to be completed. I know a lot of the work's been done.
I think probably, as a guess, maybe about half of that list has been checked off. I know there were still a few issues that they were dealing with on the life safety side.
A lot of them are related to the phone line, right, as far as...
Well, that's part of the life safety issue.
Yeah, but I mean, the number on that list is, the fire hydrant that was too low, they've addressed that.
That's been taken care of. I'm not sure if the...
Some of the caulking and stuff for fire safety was
Yeah, there was
done.
another issue that I was thinking of. The septic system.
Where do you understand, Tim, where it sits? Is Mr. Hargraves or Mr. Sikora? What are they, you've been talking to them, are they pretty well satisfied that we're making
Yeah,
progress?
they've said that it's going along, and it's disappointing that they found a blockage in the communication conduit, but you're right, it should have been done a long time ago, but that seems to be the major issue. The other issue is a fence. there's a fence out there that's got to be completed, and we're, you know, trying to get that done. So those are the two major issues, as I see. A lot of the issues were and still are getting some of the paperwork in there, and then they didn't give us a time frame of when that sign-off sheet could come before us. So that's one thing they couldn't predict, because it's dependent upon, you know, many other factors that they couldn't come up with. So we're still hoping that it's going to be signed off shortly. But
As far as the septic system concerned, they have to produce an as-built plan and a Board of Health will give them certificate of compliance.
yeah.
Okay, you know if that's been done yet, Stu, or are they still waiting for it?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
So, I mean, there are a lot of administrative things that got to be completed, and I think that they're going to do that, and they'll sign off on it. You know.
I was up there today and they're loaming the edge of the road and they're putting material in the road.
Okay. So it looks like the last bullet we have is change order number 8, awaits approval of the water board.
It's at the last section of the package. So as the selectmen know, if you did have a chance to read some of the proposals that came in on that, this was work that was submitted on a proposal from Kinsman back in the early part of 2013. So I would defer to Karen on that, but I think that many of these items actually have already been done.
Yes, some of these items have definitely been done. And some of them, the last time we had a construction meeting, they were pending. They didn't have prices on them, and now there are some prices. I know John Hargraves and John Sikora were going back and forth about recommending and working with the water board. I think I've been to the last couple construction meetings and most of the water board meetings, and I don't believe any of these items, with the exception of the sewer pump, have been actually voted on, that are on change order 8. So I would defer to the board as to where they stand.
Well, if there's an issue with the fence,
That's correct. And
that-
what
that's
happened?
part of change order number 8.
Right. What happened in change order 8 was, I believe the situation was that the fence had to go around a vernal pool, and it was going to cost an additional,
4,446.
thank you, I don't have my glasses.
4,446.
And at some point, the decision was made that the work could be done cheaper by someone else. So on this change order, on change order 8, the fence was taken out, and there was a credit for $4,446 put in. And Debbie, you've been working with Carmen on fence
Yes.
quotes?
Carmen was asked to work on this at the request of John Hargraves. And so he did contact the Fence Man Inc. of Waltham, Mass. The quote was $22,500, which was surprising. And that included the materials, apparently, because a lot of fence companies will not install products that they don't sell because of warranty reasons. So Carmine has been trying to find a company. Right now, the fence is just laying on the
In other words,
grass.
excuse me for interrupting, but we've purchased the fence materials. We paid for them, I assume.
As part of the water treatment
So the
plant.
fence material is out there, and we decided not to pay the contractor that we bought the materials from to put the fence in.
The extra money, yeah.
So therefore, will this, will the contractor come back now? And I mean, it sounds like from the prices we're getting.
I don't believe so.
We need that contractor to come back for the, I mean, even if he doesn't do it for you, I'm sure he's not gonna do it for 4,000 anymore, but we need the fence up. We need the fence up, right? That's a critical issue in terms of,
Security.
Dave, it's my recollection that the price was roughly 12 to 13,000 to do that fence around the vernal pools or whatever. And it had to go through, and some of the areas had some rock in the way. And they had come up with a price for that length that was exorbitant compared to what our advisor advised us. So the credit was actually 4,446 from the contract. So, and at that time, I think he got quotes in the order of 7,000 instead of the 12,000 to put the fence in. So it would be a cost to the department or the town of roughly three grand to put the fence in, because we got the credit of 44.60. So the numbers don't seem to reflect what I heard before. So I'm just looking at this now, and so I think what we ought to do is we just ought to instill in them to get this task completed sooner rather than later, and spend some more time, and maybe have Hargraves, make sure.
I guess my question, Tim, at this point is because we own the fence products, we've told the fence installation company not to do it. So who actually is in charge of getting this fence done now? Is Kinsman, are they responsible to see that it gets done, or is this something that the water department at this point, or the town needs to do?
Water department is going to save roughly 3,000 to 4,000.
So I mean, who from your department is overseeing
Well, I think we
this?
ought to, but we've been bouncing back and forth with our contract with Mr. Hargraves, so we have to make sure that he gets the word to take this and get this thing running, get this thing done, so.
We're not gonna spend 10 grand on gates, are we?
No, sir.
Okay,
No, absolutely not.
okay.
Well, because the other issue is timing. This is the prime time these fence companies are busy. I mean, this is the prime
It's a busy time of the year,
construction
so, yeah.
Kind
Right,
of fence
it's
is this, Tim?
season. It's just,
Steel? Huh?
Chain link.
this sounds like the same kind of a deal as the conduit. I mean, it's something that should have been all installed already, and we're beating a bush on it.
I know.
And it's gonna hold up the whole project being completed.
Yeah, so
Do
we
we have a
ought
new estimate of when hopefully this thing's
I
gonna
don't
come
know,
online
the
now?
bottom line is, the subcontractor for the fence has to pay prevailing wage, so prevailing wage is uniform. So anybody that, Carmine's trying to reach out to companies, the problem is, some of them will say, no, I only put in my own material, but the labor price stays the same because it's a state prevailing wage rate, no matter what the company is. So there's just the markup that makes the difference. Are they gonna mark it up more than somebody else? It's sitting out there. My concern is out on the grass. Carmine said, out there on the grass is concerning to me, rust or whatever. So it's a product that it's owned by the town. It's laying out there, and something needs
Maybe
to be
we're better
done.
off contacting the original company and just say, look, what's it gonna cost us, and just bite the bullet and put it in.
Well,
I mean, we're to the point where this thing is going, I don't see us, Tim, to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, if Joe Schmo's fencing company is willing to come in and put up someone else's fence, and it's gotta be guaranteed and all,
I know.
I don't think you're gonna find somebody like that. They're
Well-
not gonna get involved in that.
I don't think you're gonna see a price of 22,000 either, Dave, so.
Well, I mean, can
I
we
think we
contact the original company and say?
Well,
Well, that's a good suggestion. I think
Maybe
what we ought to do is-
they're gonna mark it up because obviously they've come and gone, but at least it's their material, and hey, we're gonna have to bite the bullet on it. This stuff's it's costing us one way or the other. Time is money at this point now too, so
Well,
this is one of those things, we don't wanna get to the end and we can't open the plant
Exactly.
because of a lousy
Yeah.
fence around the
Exactly.
vernal pool. You know?
Yeah,
So I
it's
think
in the
he-
warranty, you want a fence that's gonna last, and, with this huge project, there's gonna be a lot of warranties that are gonna come in for everything, and they're already starting to call me now. But, that, with this, unfortunately, now we've compromised the ability to have, I think, a warranty. I think they're gonna have somebody come in, and we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed that the fence
How
doesn't
tall
fall
is the
over.
fence?
It's a security fence, so it's some type of
Probably 6 or 8 feet.
chain
Chain
link,
link.
quality standard.
How many feet,
with-
what's the length of the?
I walked the area today, and just off the top of my head, It's over 300 feet,
300 feet, okay.
maybe 350.
We just need to get somebody saying, you're gonna do this, you're gonna get this done.
Or we
You
need
gotta get
to,
it done now.
someone in your department to call these people and say, look, this is what we need, let's get it done. Part of the problem now is we've been discussing this fence for, I think, months. Seems like months anyway, and we're no further along now than we were when we first started, and it just,
Seems like an eternity to me, Dave.
I'm sure it does. No doubt about it. So, I mean, can we get someone who's gonna say, somebody's gonna make a decision and say, yep, okay, we're
It
gonna
all
fight.
started with Mr. Hargraves, so I think we ought to get Mr.
Okay,
Hargraves to take it and get it done.
Get him in there and get him to do it, because it's gonna cost, it's costing us money now, it's gonna cost us, it's a minor, in the scheme of $12 million, it's a minor thing.
Yeah.
Let's get it done, because we gotta get this plant online.
I agree.
It shouldn't get held up for a lousy fence around a pool of water. Is that it, Bob?
So I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion on change order number 8?
But is that the only thing left in change order? Right? Is that that's part of change order?
That's
That's
part, I
part of
mean,
change order 8.
Everything
there
else
are
is...
quite a few items on change order 8 that I don't believe the board has ever discussed.
Well, you got them on your agenda for tomorrow night anyway, Tim, right? Change order number 8.
I'm not sure, Stu, did you see that on there?
I believe that was listed on that.
I believe it is.
Okay.
It's imperative that we vote on it.
I mean, I don't know what the date is on this particular printout that we have, but
This is a recent one.
everything on here is pending.
Yeah, there's a lot of pending stuff.
Well, it's all pending. Every category. So I'm assuming some of it's probably already been done.
Well, change order 8 looks to me like, it's these last 2 pages.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe most of the items on the first page have already been completed. In fact, I'm pretty sure they have. On the second page, this is the first time I've seen a price on provide lights and receptacles in attic. And some of the other, actually, I think this is the first time I've seen prices on anything on this page. So I don't know if John Sikora and John Hargraves have had a discussion and made recommendations to the water department on any of these items. I think I saw, Deb, didn't we see some explanatory
Yes.
notes on change proposal request 13 and
Is it possible for tomorrow night's meeting, Tim, that we get change order number 8? If you talk to Mr. Hargraves, that he can give us the exact status of each one of those items that's in change order number 8?
Okay.
Most of them are listed. It says it was revised 5/27. But I mean, yeah, change order 8 here, everything is pending. That might just be, some of it's done and hasn't been updated. But
it hasn't been approved.
hasn't.
That's why it says pending.
All right, so what we need to do then is see if all these items are done, you people need to vote them tomorrow night. In fact, I guess you need to vote the whole list to get it done anyway, technically, right?
That's
Legally.
correct. Because then, once the full change order has been approved by the board, then the paperwork can be signed and then sent off to the DEP, because it will require an adjustment to the contingency and the amount approved for the contractor.
So if Mr. Hargraves could, or Mr. Sikora, I don't know which one, but if they could provide us, take this list tomorrow night and provide your board, all of us, with what's actually been completed. I assume you're gonna have to vote on all of them anyway. I don't think there's probably much choice in that. Vote to approve them all, and then he can tell us exactly which ones have already been done and which ones remain to be done. And hopefully we get some kind of a time estimate of, when that part of the list will be completed. That would be helpful, right?
Also, I have the request number 25, payment requisition for Weston and Sampson. This is for the month of May. And the balance in the construction services account after this is paid is $2,609.22. So I'm guessing probably they're going to be looking for an amendment to the dollar amount of that as well. Because I'm sure so far this month they've done more than $2,609.22. So I expect that you'll see a change order from them as well.
And there's money in the budget to...
Right, what they do is they transfer money from the contingency into the contracts
Okay,
when the change orders are approved.
okay.
And I
Right.
believe the time,
So maybe if you're talking to Weston and Sampson tomorrow about the superintendent's position, find out where that request is, what the amount's gonna be. Because we've already extended their contract for another 30 days beyond whatever the their contract expired June 16th, was it, or last Friday,
13th.
last week?
Yeah.
So we're into already a contract extension for them. So if we can find out exactly what they're gonna be billing us, so that we can make, the board can make the changes needed to fund that money.
Okay, so that's the contract. Weston and Sampson, we gotta look at the contract. We also, Hargrave's contract, I think ended in June, didn't it?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think it did, so it's, we might need to extend his too, so. I don't know, let me work this thing out, I'm gonna call these people tomorrow and.
See what you can find out, Tim, and tomorrow, I intend to be at tomorrow night's meeting, so.
Okay,
We really need hard numbers on these things as to where we stand.
okay.
Okay, is that it?
Well, I have one more item
Okay.
for the water commissioners.
No, you gave up your position, you can't bring up anything else.
Oh, I'm passing it off. Weston and Sampson has been working on the CCR, the Consumer Confidence Report, and I'm going to be turning this over to Carmen tomorrow. There is a draft that needs to be reviewed and commented on. I believe Peter has a copy of it, and I think some of the questions were on levels, chemical levels. So I'm sure he's the best person to answer that. We got a quote from Penachek to print and mail for $17.46 for the printing and approximately $700 for the postage. So I would ask that the water board approve that tomorrow. I'll give this folder to Carmen in the morning. This has to be out by the end of June, so we're looking at kind of a tight time frame.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
Anything else? Hearing none.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn the joint meeting with the water.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn the joint meeting with the Water Board. All those in favor by roll call vote?
Jack Cook.
I, Robert Snow.
Hi, Robert Mary.
Hi, Dave Peterson.
Hi, Tim Toomey.
I, Stu Dalzell.
We are
Thank you,
adjourned.
Debbie, thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, Steve.
Appreciate it. Thank you for all your hard work, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Oh, thank you, Stu. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
See you, Paul.
Bob, you Tim.
Kim.
Bob.
Don't bring me this one.
Good morning.
Working now.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good night,
night,
Karen.
Karen.
Thank you very much for everything.
Thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Okay, that brings us back to new business item number 4. And new business item number 4 is T-Mobile request to replace antenna on Crown Atlantic cell tower and place equipment within leased area.
Thanks, Larry.
T-Mobile is replacing 6 existing antennae located on the cell tower at 124 Havel Street with 6 new antennae of the same height and in the same location on the tower. T-Mobile will also be adding a ground equipment cabinet within the existing fenced area at the base of the tower and fiber optic cable from the equipment area to the tower. See attached email from Attorney Daniel Klasnick. Town planner Kurt Baker has informed Debbie that the planning board has reviewed this packet and has determined that the proposed replacements do not require site plan review or special permit modification review. Email is attached. The Board of Selectmen must vote to authorize Debbie to sign off on the landlord, as the landlord on the building permit application. Is there any further discussion?
It seems to be, I'm looking at it, Mr. Chairman, it's a replacement of the current antennas, and there'd be some replacement of equipment on the ground to obviously facilitate the new antenna.
Yeah, actually, what they're saying, when they say on the ground, it is grounding equipment that they're updating. And the last time we were up there, before you and I, Bob, we were up there with the county that was looking at putting some equipment in one of the buildings.
Right.
And they pointed out to us that the grounding had some issues. So I think what they're doing now is upgrading that grounding situation up there. So that'll only make it better.
Yeah,
Well, it depends on the soil and everything else.
Yeah.
Just a disclosure, I've worked for Verizon at one time, in a past life, in telecommunications. Because we have to vote on this.
sounds like it's something we need to approve. I'll make the motion to approve the request.
You know, again, it's just they look at the ground potential, especially with new digital equipment, the way it is today. The grounding, they have to put a lot of, they have to bury a lot of ground wire.
Needs a very
To lower the resistivity because of the soil and everything else.
low impedance,
Low impedance.
very low impedance.
Yes.
The lower the better.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, with the digital equipment, it's so much different than the analog.
All right.
It's very sensitive to that.
I'll give you the motion.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 5 under new business, physical 14 interdepartmental transfers. Item number 5. We actually have 3 transfer requests. Assistant Town Accountant's wages to Town Accountant expenses. Transfer $850 from line 17. Assistant Town Accountant wages to line 18. Town Accountant expenses. Veterans District assessment to veterans benefits. Transfer $3,000 from line 114. Veterans District assessment to line 113. Veterans benefits. Item number 3 is Board of Selectmen expenses to Town Hall Annex expenses. Transfer $8,000 from line 7.
800.
$800 from line 7 to access Selectmen's expense to line 54 Town Hall Annex expense.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman. Jack. Thank you. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay, that takes us to old business. Number 1, Town Administrator update.
Okay, I'll jump right in here. The Independence Day celebration on the town common, we've been in contact with Bob Snow, and he's going to be DJing the event again this year with his musical selection, which was a lot of fun. We still need to work on food donations, hot dogs, rolls, slush, water, those kinds of things. Tim has ordered the trophies for the parade, and we still need to work on the prizes, which are the coins. So, you know, gonna start pulling this together, and we're gonna get the publicity out. We wanna get something to Pine Grove School. I defer to Amy on that, just to let the families know that we do this, we'll be doing this on the 28th.
If you pull that letter together for me, and like the letters we did last year.
Okay. So if there's anything else you want us to work on, or, but we'll be, get these things going and some publicity, I think.
I'll be going down the Friday before and pick up Richie's slush.
Yep.
Okay, what was the flavors? We can never remember the ones the kids loved last
Well,
time.
we had lemon and orange. I think that's a big, that's.
Lemon and orange were big.
Yeah.
What was the other
There
one?
was something, it was red, was it strawberry?
Cherry.
Cherry?
Cherry?
Cherry.
Okay.
And there was a blue one.
Blue raspberry.
Blue raspberry, that was the one. Yeah, that was the one that was the big favorite. I mean, I don't want to be in trouble with it. The kids tell you.
I know. They
Another one of
were,
it.
they can't wait as soon as they get there to
Oh,
get,
absolutely,
to
they're
get
into
their
the
slushies.
slush.
So we know that, and it was a hot day last year, so,
Mhm.
it was really in demand, but
Yeah.
it's such a nice time, for the children, and really, they have a wonderful time. So, I just wanna let you know, that's not off the radar screen. And
Okay.
we'll work on getting the hot dog cookers. The Selectmen bought one last year, and we have that over at the Council on Aging. So we'll be speaking with Mary Ellen, and she's a wonderful resource.
We're gonna pull all the tubs together for the ice.
To,
We
yeah,
have to pull
to see
the,
if we can get her to come back and help out.
Mhm.
So,
And we got some coolers,
mm,
things like that. Okay.
okay.
The town moderator's offered to help Tim run the races again.
Oh, well, she was wonderful.
So
It's a
they-
perfect role for the
They made
moderator.
they made a pretty good team there, so that
Yes.
hopefully that,
And what else? We're forgetting one thing. What the heck is it? Oh, the tents. We need tents, right?
Yes, so I was
Council on
gonna
Aging.
Mary Ellen
so-
check with Mary Ellen on
She
that.
generally brings those.
Yeah, she has 2 or 3 of those.
And we have some
We got
tables
the
upstairs.
tables
We got the
upstairs.
upstairs.
tables,
That's right,
they
the
were-
lightweight ones.
Yep, so we have that covered, so I mean, after a
Okay.
few years of doing this, it's kind of a routine, we all kind of know where to fit in, but we'll reach out to the police chief for the little parades part of it. So, and we should have a porta potty there anyway because of the concert that night. That'll be the
That's right.
first night, the kickoff.
And we really have to get this up on the,
Yes.
on the
So
TV
we'll,
and on the website.
Amy will update the flyer from last year. and
Okay.
We'll get that out and get it to the Pine Grove School.
Yeah, the big thing, it's early this year, right? It's in the,
Yeah, the way the
it's in
4th of
June, actually in
July,
June is when we're holding it, though.
Right.
4th of July is on a Friday. So,
When's the last day of school?
Thursday.
Thursday? Oh,
So, yeah, we gotta get the Pine Grove right
Yeah.
away.
I'll-
okay. Girl Scout land,
I mentioned that t-shirts and hats are available.
oh, okay, for the 375th.
Right.
So, I mean, certainly if they want to come down and set up a table during the event, that would be great to, if they wanted to. set
Larry,
up
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that they're also available now.
Yeah.
Town Hall and
Right?
Raleigh Pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Get them before your size runs out.
That's right.
They actually just got a new order in day before yesterday.
That's great.
Actually, it was Friday, not the day before yesterday.
While we're
Friday.
having a general discussion, I'll take some of your time, Debbie. If people read the Newburyport News, Mr. Desjardins received his award from the Secretary of State, and we signed a letter
Preservation
in
Award.
support of that.
Yes. Yes.
And there was a picture in, was it today's, I believe today's
Today's
paper with
Yes.
Jim and Mary was in the picture, and the town clerk, Sue Hazen, was in the picture representing the historical people in the town of Raleigh, because it was a combination of Raleigh and Georgetown, really, with majority of the, so it did all come to fruition, and
Yes. Yeah.
were very nice.
Yeah, it was a good. It was interesting going in there.
No, I'm sure.
to Boston. It's quite a place. It's the Archive Center, Massachusetts Archive Center. It was really quite a place. First time I've been there, but great resource.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, Bob.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Debbie. I didn't mean to
yeah,
interrupt, take away your
No,
time.
no problem. Girl Scout land, so we're working on the self-help application. And Nellie has been pulling together the items for the application, is hoping to deliver it tomorrow to the state. Peterson LaChance completed their review of the land use appraisal, so that's been sent to Nellie. And very good news, the open space plan was sent to the state too, and that was, in order to be eligible for the application, you have to have a draft open space plan updated on file with the state. So that's happened, and these are huge projects. So really pleased about that.
Right, and I happened to go by there Wednesday, and Donahue and Parkhurst were there surveying.
Oh, yes, they are
Yeah.
busy, very busy out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, so
That's right.
that's in the process too. That's
Yep.
good.
The annex project, so that's starting to wind down. Bob Mary and hopefully Doreen and I will be meeting with the contractor to go over the final items. We still have to get the gutters on, that's part of the punch list items. Because we did need those additional funds. And then the town hall clock, actually things are progressing. We're hopefully meeting with the clock repairman tomorrow to go over some of the installation details. He's thinking he might be able to get it installed in a couple of weeks.
Very good. Okay. Item number 2 on old business is update on placement of sign at Broad Street property. And this is, I believe, the no trespassing sign that we wrote the letter to the farmhouse owner. We asked him very politely to move the sign off of town property and put it on his own property. And I did check on that, and the sign is moved. So we should be all set with that. And the minutes for April 10th, April 28th, and May 12th. Has everybody had a chance to review them?
Yes.
I also reviewed them over the weekend and didn't find anything at all wrong. So I'll entertain a motion for the minutes for April 10th, 2014.
Make that motion?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Also entertain a motion for the minutes of April 28th, 2014.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And the minutes for May 12th,
Make that motion?
2014.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Announcements. The town has the following vacancies. Fence viewer, 2 positions. Wood, lumber, and bark inspector. And zoning board of appeals associate, 2 open seats. I believe now we have 1 open seat for the zoning board? No, I'm sorry, that's the planning board. Okay, I'm wrong. For more information on these positions, please contact the Selectmen's office at 978-2372, 375th and
948.
948. What did I say, 978?
Yes.
I was getting close.
Right.
Long night, Larry, long night. 375th anniversary information and events are posted on the town's website, www.townofrowley.net. And please keep checking up on that, because it is kind of a fluid situation at this point as we firm up dates for the various activities that are going to take place during the 375th. Those updates get put on the website.
Also, Mr. Chairman, Mr. White mentioned they're selling hats, baseball caps, and polo shirts.
Polo shirts, yes.
Those are available for sale where?
The
Town
Rowley
Hall and Raleigh Pharmacy.
No.
Raleigh Pharmacy and the town clerk. is
Town
selling
Clerk's
them.
office, yep.
So anybody interested in buying a hat, a baseball cap or a polo shirt, they all yellow, is that what the color is?
Yellow and light blue.
Yellow and light blue,
Right.
so it's very attractive looking.
$30 for the polo shirts and $15 for the hats.
For the hat. It has the Rowley Old Nancy on it,
Right.
and it also has the symbol for the Rowley 375th.
If anybody interested should.
Okay, battery recycling box located at the town hall and library. Out in the hallway across from the town clerk's office. When you're picking up your shirt and hat, drop your batteries off at the same time. Save a trip. One book, one community program hosted by the Rowley Public Library. Contact the library 948-2850. Rowley Food Pantry is in need of donations. The food pantry is open Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Thursdays from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Also, you can drop canned goods and donations off in the hallway of the library, the entrance to the library, and they will get them over to the pantry. Water customers need to talk to Penachek at 1-800-553-5191 now for billing, payment, and customer service questions. So if you have any questions on your billing or payments or any service problems, call Penachek at 1-800-553-5191. And compact fluorescent light bulbs may be recycled at the Rowley Municipal Lighting Plant. Light bulbs can be brought down during the normal business hours. Pop them into a little plastic sandwich bag and drop them off, and those compact fluorescents are the ones that look like a curlicue. And they will take those and dispose of them properly. They will not take the long tubes, the round tubes. Those are too hard to handle, so they won't be taking those, but they will take the compact fluorescents. So that being said, is there anything else that we need to discuss?
Get this.
Yes, we do. It's an additional announcement, and it's the Northeast Mosquito Control has notified the town they anticipate the need to conduct helicopter applications of the biological larvicide BTI over the salt marshes in Rowley and the neighboring towns during the daylight hours between June 18th and June 27th. Concerned residents should contact Northeast Mosquito Control at 978-463-6630 or the Rowley Health Department at 948-2231 for any other information. Okay. So that pretty much takes care of that. And I believe that's it for tonight.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor signify
Aye.
by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.